Second that.
Derby, second from Spencer, approve the minutes and agenda, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And it's coming up here, the video. There it is.
Okay, discussion with possible action regarding COVID-19 policies.
Keep the same. Keep the same.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any required change.
Yeah, no, Julie's not online?
Nobody's come on since we
Yeah.
voted this.
Okay, and we'll move on, huh? We got a couple minutes yet.
Anything else we can take care of?
I suppose we can.
Oh, public purpose for the elections. We can do number 10.
Number 10, quick.
Yeah.
Consider for approval of public purpose resolution for elections.
Carla is wanting to get, treats for the election workers come for the November election. So that's.
Yeah, we do that every year, don't we?
Yeah, yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the public purpose policy or resolution for elections.
I'll make a second.
Motion from Derby and second from Stensrud to approve the public purpose resolution for elections. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do you want to keep handing that down, Mike? So he can,
Do what? Oh.
thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the semi-monthly county claims,
I'll second it.
number 12.
A motion from Stensrud and a second from Derby to approve the 7-monthly county claims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then I vote we wait because everything else is going to take longer.
Even the Holland Pork, Matt Matrix.
Well, it's not 9:05, it's 9:04. So we have a minute to wait.
Get it done real quick. There's no discussion on it, is there?
But we have to have the public hearing first, and that's
Yeah.
in a minute.
Oh, I didn't go far back enough, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Good.
So this Holland Port site, which section is that in?
So it's 80th.
What's that?
The facility address is 80th Avenue in Thompson.
Holland Park?
Yeah, it's to the north, if I remember right.
All right.
Does this DNR send them to us with their stamp on it? Or, no,
So this letter has nothing to do with this public hearing then?
is that Martin's?
Yeah. Okay.
So, if you want to.
Okay, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for Holland Pork LLP, site number 63740 for the master matrix.
Second.
Motion from Gentle and second from Stensrud to open the public hearing for Holland Pork, site 63740 for the master matrix. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to close the public hearing for Holland Pork, 63740.
I have a motion from Stensrud and a second from Gentle.
Yeah, go ahead.
To close the public hearing for Holland Pork, site 63740 for master matrix. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
One thing we usually ask, was there any written comments? Okay.
Oh.
There weren't any in the
Yeah.
file.
All right.
consider for approval Holland Fork LLP Master Matrix. I'm not exactly sure, it's kind of almost out there in no man's land of whose it could be. I think it might be.
I did see something. It said,
Make a motion to approve the master matrix.
I was graduating.
I'll second it.
I must have felt like I had precedence or. Okay, and a motion from Stensrud and a second from Jensvold to,
Oh, I second it.
or did you second it? Oh, all right. I have to listen. Sorry. A motion from Stensrud and a second from Derby to approve Holland Pork LLP Master Matrix. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll go to number 6. Consider for approval action.
no, we have to do 5 first at 9:30.
Oh,
Scott?
There is one other participant.
am I messing it up?
Hello.
Scott, we're ready for you.
Okay, I'll be right up.
I see the community health clinic on Mason City has a COVID testing site that's instant results. 5 to 20
Alright.
minutes.
Hmm.
Drive up and
Where's that at?
get swabbed. And, that's the old Deckers building
Mm-hmm.
on the north side of Federal there.
Yeah.
Isn't that the one that used to be a mental health transition thing or something?
Yeah, there was something in there, yeah, briefly.
Heard on the radio yesterday that mental health could be the #1 health problem here in so many different years.
Morning, Scott.
Morning.
That's what that's gonna cost.
Is that because people in the past were tougher? Or is it? Yeah, anyway. Scott?
Morning. Construction update I'll start with. Our paving projects are moving along. We have completed the paving by Buffalo Center and have been working on the first lift on A16 west of Scarville. Today they're starting on the surface lift.
Is that A16 that goes to,
Once they get done with that project in the next few days, then they'll move to R50 north of Highway 9. Then the 38 east of 69 to Winnebago Church.
So do you pave right through where the possible trench is gonna be?
That's the plan.
Probably a better job if you do.
Yeah. There's too many unknowns at this point, I guess. And we had planned to go through a road and patch it, so, it's unfortunate to rip up new paving, but I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
just
the only option.
really bad timing.
Yep. I think that's all we can say about it.
maybe, since we're moving it anyway, we should have checked to see if the road, shouldn't we? We could have moved it.
When I talked to Rick, he said, regardless of where it crosses the railroad tracks, where it crosses the road will likely not change because of the tie-in point north of the road is so close.
Yeah.
So he said we can about be confident that that's where it will cross,
Okay.
and that's what we'll kind of tentatively plan on. We'll just pave as we normally would, and then the patch will have nice points on both sides to match up to, and we'll have a little money lost in the deal, but not much we can do, I don't think.
No, because they're too far ahead and we're too far behind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, if we reverse the projects by 2 or 3 months, then, you know, maybe.
Mhm.
And it could have been if things would have gone as planned.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So those projects are moving along.
How soon will we get to that point?
Maybe tomorrow or the next day.
So say maybe, is there a reason why we couldn't put it through the road right now? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think we can, not until we know for sure what's happening.
Well, we'll know today.
Hopefully.
What are you hoping for today?
If we can move where they're gonna bore, and then we can keep going with the project.
Hmm.
But that's still a week away.
Yeah.
I mean, because we still have to schedule with the railroad then.
No, but at least we could get it through the road.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Well, but then that's, I don't know.
I think it makes more sense to go through the railroad first and just keep working our way up.
Right? Okay.
Well, they said that they were gonna cross the road at the same place anyway, probably.
Let me go get Rick.
Yeah, either way, we've put the intermediate down already.
Oh,
Get the surface, but, yeah.
So you're halfway there.
you gonna let it sit for the winter to settle, or?
We don't normally do that. We normally, because of the variability in compaction and settlement, usually just pave through it, and if it settles, patch it. Other,
Morning.
Welcome to our road discussion.
Yes.
I was looking at the agenda to decide when to come in. Thanks, guys.
right, well, we were just talking about the paving schedule. We'll be paving through that crossing on A16 probably tomorrow or the next day. And so our plan was just to pave through there as normal, and when the crossing gets finalized and plans get put together, we'll just cut through the new pavement.
Okay. Unfortunate, but
Yeah.
what do you do?
Right.
Well, and the fact that we cut the road part of it now, but if we almost gonna get that done in time, you know, so is there gonna be up there now, are they paving it?
They're paving it now.
Yeah.
They're on the far west end, working their way that way.
And does the contractor even have the pipe there to even put in through the road if he were there today?
I don't think it's all there yet.
Yeah, so,
Just a thought.
No, it's worth talking about. Absolutely. This contractor is very good though at getting compaction back, and we've been going in with very large rock for a base on most of these crossings now, and they've held up really good. So that'll help.
Imagine even if they were working in the area after we got the pipe in, it'd probably be different equipment, they patch it in.
Yeah, they do have 2 pavers, and one they're doing kind of side roads and driveways and stuff with, so, you know, they could probably do it, but it isn't their business model, and they probably would rather not do it, is what the answer I got on another project I asked about. So we can always ask them and see if
We
between
just
them
tell
and
them the pavement failed there and they have to fix it. How's that?
Yeah, there you go.
I had no questions.
Do you have anything else?
our guys are working on the E2W bridge, and I believe they're setting that box on Thursday. That'll be the last bridge project for the year.
Which one is that?
E2W, so Buffalo Township, Section 2 on the west side, just northeast of Buffalo Center. 40th. We got the Rognus Brothers bridges all seated and everything, so those are just a matter of paperwork to get them closed out, but all those projects went nice. Another thing I wanted to mention, I got a message from NextEra about Crystal Lake 3 and plans to repower that project. And if you're not familiar, it's the wind turbines that are kind of southeast of Buffalo Center, south of Buffalo Center there. There's, they repowered 80 of the kind of grouping there, so, and I think this is another 30 or so. I haven't looked, but I got notice that they want to repower those, so they'll be replacing generators, blades, hubs, sometimes even some of the towers were unstacked and restacked, so. Another big project was heavy loads and things to work through, so I imagine they started a conversation with Matt Duvet, I imagine. But on our end, we'll have a road use agreement and that kind of thing to work through, so I've started to look through some stuff to work on that. And I think they're planning to do it this late fall, early winter, possibly. Still up in the air a little bit.
And that's in Buffalo Township? Or something?
I think it's some in Grant, some in Buffalo, maybe even Linden and King. I'd have to look at the map. No, it's not in King and Linden. It's all in Buffalo and Grant. Remember, it's all west of 60th.
Linden already got done, didn't it?
Yeah, all those would have been Crystal Lake 2.
Yeah.
Except for the handful of, Winnebago Wind. I think there's 8 or 9 Winnebago Wind.
Just south of Thompson.
Yeah.
Smaller ones.
Yeah.
All owned by the same people, but they originally a different project. That was that Florida Light and Power that did that one.
Don't know that.
And that was the one that got all the bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't work with us well.
Yeah.
That's the story I heard too. Yeah.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
All right, well, we'll move on to auditor's office. We'll discuss drainage matters.
I wanted to talk about DD11, that main tile project. Bill Shutter stopped in and he's got property that will be on the north side of the new ditch. It's about 30 feet by 400 feet. And now with this new ditch, he really doesn't have access to get to it. So he is wondering if the district would buy the easement for that. Rick figured out it could be about a quarter of an acre, and if we use that $8,000 number that we did for the other easements, it might be a couple $1,000, and then the district would own the north side of that ditch.
Easement or own?
I don't know how this works. I've never done this part before.
You can get a permanent easement, but you'll end up paying property value. You'll pay that $8,000 an acre or two.
But it's
Yeah.
still gonna be in his name, but he doesn't pay taxes on
You have some flexibility there on how I'd approach him and decide what would work best.
it. Because the easement for the ditch, it is owned by him, but he doesn't pay taxes on it, correct?
I think that's correct.
Right.
And this, I would rather see it the same way here, where he retains ownership.
Yeah, it's not worth going through all the legal hassle to switch ownership.
Well, and we'd have to put a pipe in to get him to farm it.
Yeah, there's
And
a
that's-
waterway coming from the DNR ground that blocks it off.
Yeah, so he's got no access. So,
The pipe would be more
Well,
than
that's
$2,000.
even more of an argument to keep it as an easement.
yeah, and that's fine. And he says, I would like it if DD11 would buy the easement on the north side of the open ditch.
Yeah.
So, and he was in agreement with that $8,000 number and however much Rick would determine was the actual acreage. He determined maybe a quarter of an acre total. But that's up to you guys.
I think that's about what we should do.
We don't have anything on the agenda as far as making a
No,
decision, but we can do it next week.
We need to make sure that down the road, that he doesn't ask, or a future landowner ask for access to that.
For a pipe to get there.
Right.
That's gotta go in the easement too.
Yeah, that should be part of the deal.
And do you record the easements? Or how does that get
We
done?
provide the paperwork, basically. I mean, we'll document, give you a sheet that spells out how many acres it is.
And then
where
we
it
can
is.
take that to the
Yes.
recorders? Okay, I didn't know that process.
Yeah, I think that'd be the smoothest.
Mm-hmm. Because then it would go in anybody's abstract
Yep.
for future.
Yep.
Okay. So when you have something that we can sign, then I'll put that on the agenda
Okay.
to do approval.
Okay.
Does that sound like a good plan?
Will you put the wording in then for that, or for the,
Yeah, we'll work at that and
no,
Over-
that
as far
it's ineligible for, we don't have to put access to it?
yeah,
The only way he'd have access is if he got access through the hog lot.
Or
right,
he could do it himself if Scott approves the
true.
entrance.
Because technically, if he had some small use for it, and he had easement through the hog lot, then he could farm it with some kind of crop or something.
Yeah, it's doable. It's just 30 by
Could
400.
Could he get his machinery on that?
Is it
Yeah.
Well,
between
you have
the
to have
ditch
a
and the
smaller
DNR
foot.
land?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Couldn't you get up to the road?
and drive along the north side of the ditch.
Yeah.
But he doesn't own to the road.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
Gotcha.
seen it.
The hog side,
Mhm.
yes.
I understand.
So it'd be another 30 feet besides the 50 foot from the center that we already
Yes,
got for an easement. So
Yes.
there's actually probably going to be 50 foot there.
But we've already paid for the 30.
right.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, in my mind,
Oh,
that 30 foot would be added to the bank.
mm-hmm,
So it's actually maybe
Mhm.
50, 60 foot.
yeah. And I asked Rick, I said, well, how does then the district take care of it as far as weeds and whatever? But B&W can spray it still and just go out wider there in that area to make sure there's no brush that grows. And that
That'd be
would,
the best case scenario.
right,
Well, see, and I don't understand if it's that, why, if he can get 60 foot in there, why can't he put it into filter strips?
We should talk to him more about that.
And it's, what do you-
Now, part of the issue was, even with filter strip, he has to get in and
yeah.
mow it.
And he doesn't have any access to get to mow it.
Yeah,
Because he did talk about that, mowing it.
And that binds the county too a little bit as far as nesting and all that goes, you know,
yeah, you have to
time
give
of
that.
work, so.
but we can't control that,
Well,
just an easement.
we can if we don't put it in the filter strip.
It's not up to us,
Why?
because we just have an easement, we don't have control of the land.
Well, not that 40, not that 30-foot piece. If we put
Yeah, we're
that
just buying an
clause-
easement.
If we put that clause in there, then that, well, no, you're right.
It's still
That's just
his.
access, that's just access.
So,
It's one of those things where it costs more to put a pipe in to get the access, than just taking easement.
Do we know on the upper end there, the leaves, what they're planning on doing with their,
I haven't talked to
He's
them.
been working with FSA and NRCS on his best option.
because I've got, the same person has called me on on what we decided last
Mhm.
week on the mitigation, thought, you know, it sure would be nice if we didn't have to pay for all of that
Well, it sure would be,
wetland.
but we don't know that yet.
Yeah, that's the drawback on just saying up front you're gonna pay for it. Less incentive for them to appeal.
I got a call too,
Yeah.
except for the guy that owns 160 North Lake Mill too.
You know, in hindsight, you know, I started thinking about, we talked about 50%, we talked about 100%. I'm almost thinking 25 would have been at least a little incentive for the landowner to have responsibility in it.
Yeah, Well,
I thought it was the most fair way.
Well, not for everybody, but,
No, maybe not.
but it,
yeah, it's a big number on that lead
Ugh.
parcels.
60% of it.
Yeah, that'd be about right. I didn't figure it, but that'd be,
Yeah.
All's not fair in level water drainage.
Well,
So how they doing
the
on the,
state, the legislature had better take a look at drainage laws.
yeah.
They're outdated in my opinion.
so have they made it to that other lateral that goes north then? Seem to be quite a ways west now.
Yeah,
It almost seems like they're in that draw where that one comes from the north and connects.
I couldn't tell you. I was out there this morning and didn't look at that.
They gotta be heading south pretty soon.
Yeah, they're going southwest now, and so it won't be long till they go south. They only had 4 pipe to put in yesterday. They had problems with delivery. And now they got 6 to 8 trucks coming today to try and get ahead of them. And they're out there now working. So ground conditions are decent.
Yeah.
They get some sand, but not too bad, so. Back making better progress.
What size are they putting in right now?
48, I believe it is.
Down to 48.
Yeah. That's right.
At the top end, I think it used to be 8-inch. What was gonna be at the top? Was that like 16 or something?
Oh boy, I think it's bigger than that.
Somebody asked me that, and I can't remember.
Is it off the wrong sketchbook?
I don't have that filled in here.
$24-inch.
Okay.
Different.
Make a big difference on the top.
Oh, huge. Oh, it's surprising that the couple of the contractors guys this morning told me where they're coming to the old pipe now, got a hole in it to look in. It's flowing under pressure. There's that much water. It's, yeah, it's full and they said that about 6 inches above the pipe when they had a hole open in it.
How big do you go before you can't, I was thinking about the 18 project, a tile accelerator. Is, if you, like on the one up there, would that have been possible to shoot it through? The dip through the railroad?
The problem with the railroad is that with the sand, you have to almost put casing
No,
in.
I'm using the existing culvert there. Could you have used that existing culvert? Or not?
No,
Is that too high?
that's too high,
Too high.
yeah. Yeah,
What would a pump cost to pump it up and through that culvert?
Down the road?
yeah, it's not the initial cost, well, although it'd be big. It'd have to have some really big pumps.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good thought, and there's spots that works. This is just too much area coming.
Okay.
We did get another quote yesterday afternoon on the railroad crossing, $25,000 less, but it still makes it 148 something.
Can we go back to the new, or the old boarding?
Well,
Oh,
that's,
that's the next topic, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, 9:30 a.m. or thereabouts, public hearing for refunding 2012 A bonds.
Make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Motion Sedger and a second Derby to open the public hearing for refunding the 2012 A bonds. All in favor, say aye.
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 And
Tell me about these, yeah?
We're getting better financing. We're not going through the whole process of getting rated, and it'll still save us, what we figure, 160. Well, there was not one number that was 180, but it was at least probably 160 if
Yeah.
we went with the non-rating process. We go through that, you know, rating process for our financial ability, that costs a lot of money.
Mhm.
And we did that last time and it wasn't fun. But we can do this without having to go through the rating process and still save almost as much money.
This was part of the urban renewal borrowing from,
The tip,
what is the sunset now of those?
it's still the same,
8
is it
years?
28 or,
28.
yeah. One thing
Oh,
I
sorry.
found interesting, I think it was Garner,
Where's
that
some of that money, huh?
Garner put out for a general obligation bond locally.
Hmm.
No, it wasn't Garner, it was Clear Lake when they did their health and fitness project in combination with the school. MBT came in with 0.37% interest to get the TO.
Wow.
It's competitive right now. Or they were just trying to make a statement at Clear Lake,
Yeah, wow.
getting their foot in the door.
This is just standard procedure for when the interest rates turn for the.
Sure. Just curious, how,
Second time we've done this on this slope.
Sure. The TIF is, something that the projects were done so long ago. A lot of people have forgotten the benefits. And here we are working on the financing 10 years later, still have 8 years to go. Yeah.
Trying to be smart with the money.
Yeah.
Well, it'll go by, 12 years is going by. So we get it.
There's been many times where you had to explain what it was for.
Yeah.
And,
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna make a huge difference in 8 years on the budget.
yeah,
So
would be nice.
in
Unless
5
that's-
years, we'll have full revenue coming from other turbines.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Not full revenue, but they'll
As
be
good as
fully
it gets.
online, our portion, I mean. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for the 2012 A bonds.
Second.
Motion, Derby and second from Stensrud to close the public hearing for 2012 A bonds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, consider for approval action regarding refunding 2012 A bonds.
I'll make a motion to approve the refunding of the 2012 A bonds.
I'm second that.
And motion Derby and second from Stensrud to approve the action regarding refunding the 2012 A bonds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm not quite sure what you need to sign on this, so we might wait. I don't know.
Kind
What's
of
that?
important.
I know. I'm not sure where you're supposed to sign or what you're supposed to do. Yes, you feel free.
Anything else for me?
I don't think so. Thanks.
I'm good now.
Holler.
Thank you.
Fill in the votes. Right here, he signs.
I haven't looked at it. I'm,
Yeah, there's chairperson, auditor. Chairperson, auditor.
but there's 3 different sets.
Yeah.
2 of them are alike and one is different. One is dated on September 11th, something like that, or the 18th, I don't know.
I would
And
say-
it has a different amount in it. So,
We can go back to the
That might
discussion.
be the discrepancy between the rating by not going through the process.
and that could be, so then there might just be the one to sign.
It might have been in the financial. Oh, it is.
It's one of those that if it was on a piece of paper with 20 other names, I could pick it out, but
Yeah.
make me think
How
of
many
it.
times have we met with him?
Yeah, I know.
Good grief.
I can picture it.
This is getting scary. I'm doing this more and more.
I can understand.
lot of this is just accompanying documents.
Who's our bond guy, Terry?
Huh?
Who's our bond guy?
Jeff Heil?
Jeff.
Heil, yeah. I can think of the Heil, but I just.
Heidi?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
there. I couldn't,
Yeah, I'm here.
I couldn't remember your name.
Yes. It's a hard one to remember, I remember.
The Carmel's guy. Guy that
Yeah,
gives
that's
out
right.
caramels.
Oh, yeah.
Caramels.
Well, yeah,
I can understand you can remember Heidi better. That's,
so what's the difference,
So-
what's the difference in numbers on the papers you signed?
well, today, what you're signing is just giving you authority to do the financing. So today you approve the hearing, you're gonna give authority. The next week, you're gonna approve the official statement so that we can go to the bond market. And then on October 5th, we are going to, price the bond. So we're a couple weeks away of pricing. Right now, I think in today's market, we're about 162,000. I think I showed you 165,000. The market moved a little, not much. So we're still in that 160 to 165,000 without a rating. And so it's still in place. But you know, it's October and an election year, and who knows what's going to happen. But as far as today, your paperwork is just the authority to do those bonds up to that amount that's on the hearing.
Perfect.
Yep.
So it doesn't force, today's action doesn't force anything. The true action of when you're gonna refinance will be on your October 5th meeting, or 6th, whatever that date is.
Perfect.
So good. Any other questions, comments?
So more than likely, we won't get a 0.37% interest like Clear Lake did.
Well, you'll see. No, right now we got it at going out to 28. How long did they go out on that, do you know?
28.
28.
Did they go to 28?
No, Clear Lake probably went out.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure what their GO bonds were. It was for a health and fitness center.
Yeah, I know we've had some, short-term stuff, 2, 3, 4 years, doing that 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. You'll look on the rates on that, I think it's on the third page of the worksheet that you have. I think we started at a 0.45 and a 0.5, 0.6% interest that we have on the estimates for right now. And then with all costs involved, we're still at about a 115 or so.
Who's buying these bonds?
Still mostly local banks are still are buying them right now.
Really?
That's who we're selling most of them to. So yeah, there's still an interest in them. I don't know how long it'll be, but right now, particular stuff that's under 10 years, the 15 to 20 year stuff is starting to move upwards a little bit, but it's not much. We just did. Heidi's actually at Madison County. We're doing a deal this morning, non-rated, sort of like what you're doing, and we had it priced the same way as Dickinson County, AA, a AA2. We priced it the same way non-rated is, but AA2 Dickinson County went and sold for. So we're still being able to find banks to buy this non-rated at close to rating prices. So, but we just wanted to fill you in that the market is still close to the range where we started this process. As we watch the stock market and the election stuff going on, we can get a lot of surprises, but I think there's a lot of confidence of buyers that still want to buy this with very cheap interest because they're afraid of putting their money somewhere else.
you were involved in our financing of our jail project, right?
Yes.
Now, would that one be a candidate also?
Well, no, we refine it. I don't have that right on front of me, but our call date is out enough where
Oh.
it's not ready. It's not ready because we don't have, I think we got about 3 or 4 years out on that one. But I can definitely, we'll pull it up because they are starting to allow advance refunding. But Carla and I have talked about the advance refundings versus the pros and cons. But Heidi's going to be there next week at your signing the official statement, and I will have her bring an update on that jail bond for you, okay?
That'd be good.
Yep.
Okay, we got an expensive engineer here sitting here rallying up the time, so.
Okay, well, good. Good. You take care of that, and I'll get off your shoulders.
All right, thank you much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, goodbye.
Okay,
So then did you figure out which one you needed to sign?
All of them,
well,
I
there
think-
was signature places on this one,
yeah.
but the rest of this, there was no signature.
It was just the accompanying document.
Right.
But if it, let them figure it out, at least he signed what he needed to do. And
Oh, yeah, so there was just one place for today.
if you have to reprint it for next
Actually,
week,
there was,
so be it.
There's other things for next week already.
there was
yeah.
3 places I signed.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, move on to number 9, discussion possible action regarding the digging at DD 18 lot 11.
Okay, the contractor was able to find somebody to provide a different quote on that railroad boring. The company name is The Driller, and I'm pretty sure it's what used to be Miller the Driller out of the Des Moines area. Otherwise, I can't imagine that it is not. But anyway, we sent in the soils, borings, a copy of the plan. And if you remember, last week or the week before, we were talking 173,000, I believe, compared to 70,000 bid because of the different style boring that had to be done. This one is 148,175. Contractor this morning said he has talked to them recently. They have other jobs they're going to be needing to wrap up, but they would fit this in if the decision was made to go forward with this. We have to get back to the railroad and decide if we can go in our initial location. I think it's going to be very hard to dig there even to establish the bore pits, but that'll be part of our discussion with the railroad and the boring contractor. If we move south, one big issue and that's caused problems is we have to be 150 feet away from that surface pipe that goes under the railroad. So if we go south of that to get to the better soils, that adds like 200 and some feet of pipe,
At a cost of what?
$118 a foot. So it adds 20 some thousand back into the job, moving the location. So that's why it's not real clear cut here exactly how we should go forward with this, and we're gonna have to have some talking back and forth.
And what will the boring cost at that point, at the 150 feet down?
That's the
The
100,
same as the.
yeah, that's the 148,000,
Okay.
yeah.
So if we were to be able to go on the south side, could we get the original boring contractor
Yes.
for his price?
Part of what we need to work out. If we can get away from the sand, I'm hoping he'll at least have us dig a pit and then make the evaluation. Just north of the area we'd be in, there was 2 feet, well, we found some sand in all the holes that Doug dug, but then one of them, there was 2 feet of black dirt and then sand all the way down, several feet.
And then it all caved in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, Chris,
It does, yeah. Glad I wasn't standing
That's
there.
why the railroad's concerned.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris was able to get out there and see some of this, which I think is great. Better understanding of what's happening out there on these jobs, so. hopefully over the next few days, we can get this worked out. I'd like to maybe get it on the agenda for next week to, again, for
Was
possible
there water
action.
pressure in the sand then?
Just a
Washington.
tad, there was some
Yeah,
water
just-
seeping on the west side of the, yeah.
Yeah.
But the.
But it wasn't shooting out of there, no, it's just a little trickle.
Because it'll store water in that area.
Yes, yes.
That's what sand does.
Well, and we've seen it like when you're digging a ditch where the water will come out and then it'll stabilize. And that happens too, so. And that's why we're doing a lot of the subdrain along the ditch part of this, of 11, to try and pick up that water, get the water out of the sand so the sand is stable.
Dehydrate it.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping we can get all this worked out this week and maybe have it as an agenda item again and take action.
So no action today.
I don't think so, don't really have anything exact to have you act on.
And when do we think we can get with the railroad again?
This week,
This week, so.
yeah.
So.
Is this a timely thing? I mean, do we wanna get going on it? If
Yes.
it's amenable to Doug and the landowners?
Yes, yes, we
Well,
do.
is it improper to, have you work with Doug and the landowners? And to get to the lowest price doing this? And just give you authority, in case it's done this Wednesday, and we wanna get going? And I suppose we could call a special meeting, but
I'd rather do that than have the landowners. Not that I don't want the landowners' input, but you guys should know what's happening.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 But that's simply a call,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't think it was right, since it's my district, if I didn't think it was right, then I could call for a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But to get this thing going, couldn't we give you the authority to make that decision with
Well,
the
to at
Doug and
least
the
negotiate
landowners?
that with the boring people and the landowners, and it'd be, yeah, it'd keep it moving forward
Right,
with official action coming from the board.
well, that would be official, to go with the lowest price, if that's amenable with the landowners.
But that, I would have to send letters out to the landowners. There's no way to call them all.
Well, they're all aware of this, trust me. Yeah.
What's
But,
the rest of their position?
but there's code that's, you know what I mean? I have
There's
to
what?
follow that. The
Rest-
code, I have to tell all the landowners, I can't just tell one.
So by increasing the cost of the project, say 70,000, we have to notify them ahead of time or not?
No, we got that contingency in there.
Yeah.
No, you really don't.
So we really aren't required to work
No.
with the landowners on this.
No.
You just-
You don't,
But, well.
The question is,
Yes.
would you be able to do anything before next Tuesday?
I doubt it,
Okay, then that's mute.
because we'll have to find out.
You gotta schedule with the railroad for a while.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Because we don't know if they even are going to require another soil sample.
right,
Right.
correct.
It's a working order.
What's the position of the rest of the landowners?
No comment. Haven't heard back. Made it known that I want their comments, but they're pretty, I think they're just tacitly giving their approval. So,
The thing in their favor is we're just doing the lower part of the main, not the whole thing. So it's
Spread out for.
spread out pretty good as far as the cost per landowner.
Because 12 pays into it 13 and 29.
Yes. You all contribute.
And it's easy for me to say this, it's gonna benefit that land greatly,
Oh, yeah.
greatly.
Oh, yeah.
I would think if I've got, well, call it 6,000 acre land. And here again, I'm talking for my opinion, I don't have to pay for it. All I gotta look is a pretty huge farm east of Lake Mills that doesn't spare any cost on drainage.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And he's probably got the best looking crops of any farmer.
And those are the ones that get ahead the most.
you know?
We can hardly get Emmett County to even consider a drainage project. It's just
That's
our own
amazing.
county. It's like insane.
This is important as fertilizer.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it is.
It's, you got
And one of Emmett County's finest is working on our project?
Yeah, yeah.
Quonset, was it Quonset or whatever?
They were talking to him about dewatering, Jeff Quasted. Yeah,
What's that?
He's a supervisor over in Emmett County, and he's working,
he's working with Jeremy as far as dewatering procedures. Yeah,
so he understands it.
oh, yeah. Well, and our office manager, Lori Smith, her boys are farming now, and ponds everywhere. And they have access to tile, but the tile aren't big enough. She's pulling her hair
They have
out.
5 member board, right?
Yes.
Well, for a landowner, there's so many variables, you know,
Oh.
the age of the person who
Oh.
owns the land.
Oh, yeah.
That's a huge input, and, you know, Doug's close to my age, and
Yeah.
I understand his reticence to go
Oh,
forward, I really do.
oh, yeah. Oh, I do too. You bet.
There are older landowners in
Yes,
this
there
district,
are, yeah.
Yes.
but yet they all saw the value in it.
But the guy I was talking about east of Lake Mills is 82. He's still buying farms, and as soon as he buys them, he just
Hey.
pattern tiles the whole thing.
Yep.
You know?
Those people are ready for when corn comes back in price. I mean,
Yep.
no, we'll keep Chris informed of what's working out, and hopefully can get it analyzed enough you can take action next week.
Are the diggers continuing on right now?
No,
It's at a standstill.
it's at a standstill, and it's the same contractor who's doing 11, so,
But he's close.
yeah,
He's
he's
at the
very
point
close.
where he can go straight or he has to go right. I mean,
Yeah,
he's as far as he can go on that project.
yeah. I'll try and catch Jeremy, the contractor, tonight and talk through what he knows and what he knows about his boring guy.
But this will more likely, if it goes forward, will be done in a month.
Yes. Crops are coming out early.
Yeah.
And that's one thing with our contractor, he does a lot of farm drainage. So he wants to finish these jobs. He's anxious to finish them.
Usually I think you're looking years ago, like those, longer than that. Guy farms now.
Casco.
No, way after him. He's probably about 30, 35.
Oh, Ham.
Yeah, Jamie. They took out 160 acres of corn, 19.5%.
Oh, I hadn't heard anything on moisture yet. Okay,
And I think that's over Meadow Sage, isn't it? Where he where he grew up.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's, there won't be much LP used this year.
no,
Especially after this week.
Yeah.
80s,
And wind,
yeah.
natural dryer.
Terry, that slough off you were talking about on DD1, I had trouble seeing it. I saw the material in the bottom of the ditch, but I couldn't tell if that was where the slough off was or not.
When
I looked
sit-
from the bridge.
Yeah, you don't see that. You say you see the material?
Well, I see material in the center of the ditch, but I had trouble spotting the slough off.
Yeah, well, I don't know where to come from, that material.
Yeah, it'd be great to get that dipped out of there, though.
Yeah, might be a simple fix.
Yeah. That's what we try to do, is
It's
dip
a
out.
bottleneck right now.
Yeah, because it's got to be fairly deep material, because it's on the surface and has some vegetation in it. So. We'll maybe get Larson out there.
Yeah, when I drive by and I look at the bank doesn't look bad.
That's what I was looking
There's
for.
kind of a draw there, but not bad.
Not a lot, yeah. And that's what I was looking for and not
Should
seeing.
there be a surface pipe there or something?
We'll get something accomplished there.
But there's filter strip there, right? I think.
I think so.
Yeah, both sides has some
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
filter
sure.
strip.
We're past the nesting period, so that won't be a problem. anything else right now.
I can't.
We're meeting with the joint Cassuth Winnebago DD 68-136 commissioners for reclassification this morning. That's one we've been working on. We have it to the point of going through it with the commissioners. Tim Missel, here in town, is one of them, and it's an oven from Cassuth County. Real quick story on that. I called him about working on the reclassification. They'd given me his name and number, and he just was silent on the other end of the phone when I told him about it. He said, "What is this?" They apparently hadn't talked to him about it at all. He said, "Does it matter I haven't ever done this before?"
Which unit is that?
Kenny,
Ken unit, all right.
yeah. But he's more than willing to do it, and I kind of do a explanation ahead of time before we get into the meat of it anyway, so. And the code doesn't give us much to go on, just that 100 points breaker on the land benefiting the most and graduate down for less benefit, period. So,
So there's just one representative from each county.
yep,
Because you only need two, plus the engineer.
legally you can have both from the same county, even though there's two counties involved, but it's better, I think, if you have one from each.
So a lot of it probably depends on what percentage is in each county too.
Yeah,
If it was 95% in one county, you'd probably look at maybe two.
yeah, this is about 75%.
To get those percentages, can you be swayed in a public hearing? Like if all the farmers come in, see, here's where I think drainage law needs to be changed. The farmers need a lot more input and say into how their drainage works. Because I got a feeling that, and I keep bringing this up as an example, 12 years ago, we did one about Buffalo Center. And one landowner's, it went from $12 to $26, their assessment. And it didn't benefit them one bit. And so I kind of think the farmers would have overridden that and said, we got to do something there, you know, to make that more fair. So, I mean, when you go in, you got those percentages, those markers. Can you, by law, say change it from 100 to 75, even though?
Yes.
You
Well,
can, okay.
And we have.
Yeah, the board,
Yeah, but with technical reasons, not for fairness reasons.
That is technical.
we need something technical to go by.
Yes, I understand
Yeah.
that.
And when people
But
have
can you
proven,
vary from that technical formula?
Yes, and
You
the
can.
code specifically says that for reclassification, the board can approve it or approve it as amended. So that you have the right, if someone has,
Really, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We didn't know that when we made the decision about the rig boys. We should have amended that then and said, no, this isn't right.
we've seen them where, I don't know if it's been an error or what, where somebody is like way overcharged or way undercharged.
Yeah.
Like the county roads.
Yeah, yeah. That happens. Yeah, we take an extra look at county roads and city lots now.
So there is allowable.
Yes, there's allowable flexibility there. The report is presented to you as a recommendation by the commissioners, the two landowners and the engineer, based on a procedure we follow. Now, some of the engineering companies have a really complicated procedure they follow, but it turns out that our simpler version of this comes out similar, because they'll apply like 5 different factors to a piece of ground, and it just doesn't make sense to me.
And it also drives up the price of the cost of reclass.
Absolutely it does.
Speaking of it, there he is right there. Is that-
oh, that's Ken, yeah. Because he's supposed to be here at 10:15, so.
oh, he does.
So could we amend that now, over about what the land I was just talking about, that example?
If there's a section in the code that talks about errors in a reclassification, and then you have the right to reclassify. Now, I have to look at how it reads. I think you can reclassify parcels if you find an error.
But we don't have to go back in and get it engineered again, right?
Well, yeah, an engineer would have to tell you.
By code, yeah, you'd have the engineer look at it.
Here's the man you wanna be with.
Okay.
We're close.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you know, it's just
I
what I was
wasn't
seeing.
sure.
You bet, I mean, we didn't say
You
exactly.
can smile a little bit, Jim. You sit there like a hard.
Well, usually when you show up, that kind of takes the smile off my face. Or I can't decide whether I should smile or, you know, it's.
I shouldn't have asked him.
But you wouldn't have to do the whole district. I'm asking.
That's my understanding, you would not have to do the whole.
You just go in
You
and
find an error.
assess the error on that particular parcel. So
I
what
believe
I'm asking
so.
is, would it cost much from the engineer's standpoint?
Geez, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, okay.
Well, and that's the district that if we ever get a hold of Terry Kiewit, we'd have to redo it anyway.
Oh, because he tiled
Because
out.
it's the same district that he's talking about.
Just to fill you
We'd have to
just walked in,
reclassify.
we're talking about reclassification.
Yeah, because Terry Kiewit tiled out of one district into another.
Working on,
Okay.
and we're talking about another one that was done.
So-
You just have reclassified to
We had a big error in
Yep.
it. Now we're
Oh,
looking at how
we just did the
right.
21 too, last year.
I told him about our conversation where you said you hadn't worked on one of these before.
You know, after you said that, I did. I don't know how many years ago.
Okay,
And now that, I'm trying to figure out how my name got brought up. And that's what it was.
okay, that makes sense.
So I'm not real familiar with it.
And we probably do it different now than that was done too, so,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Open forum.
All right, we'll go to open forum.
Do you just look at
Do
all
you have the
this
claims to Sam?
somewhere?
Jerry approved them.
Good morning, guys. This is Julie over at Public Health. Did you guys do number 2 already? I got on late.
Yeah, we just kept with the same policy.
Okay, all right. Do you guys want me to update you about the Board of Health meeting on Friday, what things we discussed?
I was there.
Sure.
Well, I just want to let you know that, we're doing a lot of contact tracing right now at the schools, and I had talked to Carla, because my nurses are working extra on the weekends, and specifically Allison, and I don't want her to get burnt out from doing all of this. So we've come up with a plan, I think, to use some of that FEMA money, so my nurses who work that weekend can help us out, because our numbers are growing in our county right now. So I just wanted to keep you abreast of what was going on with that,
And we as a board all thought that was fair.
okay? Yep,
I mean, our board, Board of Health. So.
yep, the Board of Health, yep. So I just wanted to keep you updated on that.
All right, thanks.
All right, any questions?
What's our numbers at now?
We're at 275 as of today. Our 14-day average is 15.7. I believe I have by my numbers, I have 40 active cases, but I also have probably like 120 in quarantine.
How many deaths?
12, I believe. Yes, 12.
And 240 cases?
45, 275.
275.
Over the course of the whole time or right now? The whole time?
Over the course of the whole time. The last 14 days, I've had 96 positive cases.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Lots of
The last 7 days was like 30-something, yeah. But out of those 275, I have 235 that have recovered, and we've followed and done all that. And we've had 12 deaths, unfortunately.
Most of those from the nursing homes?
Yes.
All right, thanks, Julie.
You bet. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to call.
Alright.
Message sent.
The message you made earlier.
Must have shut it off too early.
Hour
Nimrod. The bar, Nimrod.
Oh, it was called Nimrod?
50 years ago?
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, I remember it now, Nimrod.
I'm trying to remember what it was in between.
I remember it having a weird name.
North Branch.
North Branch, that's what it was.
I remember it having a weird name, but not that.
That's the name of it, yeah.
I'll be darned.
Talking about a bar
Oh, okay.
Where at?
where all the,
Lake Mills, by the Stanton Milling.
Sounded familiar once he said that.
well, it